Picture a man on a street corner in St. Louis, in the cold, selling firewood off a wagon. His coat is worn, his boots are worse. Men who served with him in the army walk past, and some of them pretend not to see him. Nobody buying wood from him that winter would have believed what he'd become. Because that man was Ulysses S. Grant, and within a decade, he would command every army of the United States. Let's be honest about how far down he was, because the story means nothing if you soften it. Grant had graduated West Point and served bravely in Mexico. Then the army posted him far from his wife and children, and the loneliness broke something in him. He resigned under a cloud in 1854, with rumors about his drinking following him out the door. Then came 4 years of failure that would have finished most men. He built a farm with his own hands and named it Hardscrabble. The farm failed. He tried selling real estate. That failed too. One December, he pawned his gold watch to buy Christmas presents for his family. And in the winters, he cut and hauled firewood into St. Louis and sold it on the street in his faded old army coat. Think about what that felt like. A West Point man, a decorated officer, not yet 40, and the men of his old world were rising, while he stood in the mud, holding a horse's reins, watching them pass. By 1860, he was so beaten down, he took a job as a clerk in his father's leather shop, working under his own younger brothers. Now ask the question that matters. What do you do in the years when nobody believes in you? Because that question is coming for every man. Maybe it's already come for you. The business that folded. The career that stalled while your friends got promoted. The season when you couldn't provide the way you wanted to. The Grant years, a man could call them. Here's what Grant did in those years, and what he refused to do. He worked. Whatever was in front of him, however far beneath his training, he did it. He hauled the wood. He collected the rents. He stood behind the counter. He didn't perform his failure for sympathy, and by every serious account, he didn't drown himself in bitterness or excuses. He kept his family fed, kept his word, and kept going. And here's the part that should give you chills. Nothing he was made of got lost in those years. The clarity, the calm under pressure, the stubbornness that would later grind down an entire rebellion. All of it was still there, sitting in a leather shop, wrapping packages. Circumstances had buried the man. They had not changed him. Then, history knocked. In 1861, the Civil War began, and the country was desperate for trained officers. Grant volunteered. He was given a shabby regiment nobody wanted. He shaped it into a real fighting force within weeks. And the qualities that had no market on a street corner suddenly became the most valuable qualities in America. He didn't panic. He didn't quit. He moved forward, always forward, when other generals froze. 8 years after selling firewood, Ulysses S. Grant was General-in-Chief of all Union armies. 4 years after that, he was President of the United States. The men who once crossed the street to avoid him now needed appointments to see him. But don't let the ending blind you to the point. The point is what the ending was built from. Grant didn't become great in 1861. He became great in the wilderness years, when he did unglamorous work without letting it define him. When he failed publicly without becoming a failure privately. War didn't create his character. It revealed what the hard years had hammered into shape. There's one more chapter, and it might be the best one. At the end of his life, dying of throat cancer, Grant discovered a swindler had wiped out his family's money. So he went to work one last time. In constant pain, unable to speak toward the end, he wrote his memoirs, racing his own death to leave his wife something to live on. He finished them days before he died. The book earned his family a fortune and became an American classic. The man who once sold firewood to feed his family spent his final breath doing exactly the same thing. So if you're in your own Grant years right now, hear this clearly. Being knocked down to humble work doesn't say what you are. It says where you are. Those aren't the same thing, and the difference is decided by what you do next. Do the work in front of you, even when it's beneath the man you know you are. Keep your habits. Keep your word. Refuse the poison of bitterness. The world hasn't seen your whole story yet. Chop the wood, stack it, and be ready when history knocks.